evening, everyone. Welcome back to another Words and Wind Down with Amy. Amy and I did a video last month talking about friendship. Well, we are back again tonight to talk about another topic. What we need you to do right now is exactly what we are going to do. Stop the video, go get your glass of wine or a bottle if you'd like. Well, anyway, some of us are more guilty than others. Whatever it is that you like to have to wind down, and while you're at it, go grab your hubby or your significant other, have them get whatever they like to wind down with, bring them along because both of you are going to enjoy this video. All right, we have got our wine. I hope you've got yours, but before we get started, I just have to say happy birthday, Amy.
Thank you.
Today is Amy's birthday, you guys. So not only are we chit-chatting tonight together, her and I are actually going out to dinner after this, that's what's so awesome, but we're also going to make a little toast for Amy's birthday. So happy birthday.
Thank you.
29. 29, I love it. Thank you so much though. This is not only a birthday wish, but a thank you as well for just being such an awesome friend.
Well, thank you, and I feel the same about you. I'm so blessed by your friendship.
Cheers to that. All right, let's get a sip here going. Very good.
Delicious.
This is a bottle of rosé. I love this bottle. It's beautiful, and it's by Sofia. So if anybody wants to pick this up, it is, I think, very good. We've got it nice and chilled, and we're raring to go. All right, let's get talking. Tonight's topic is a biggie. We are going to talk about intimacy. I'm sure you're glad that you brought your hubby along, and I'm sure he's glad that he's here as well, because what do most of you think about when you hear the word intimacy? Well, I know if you're a man,
even women, when I bring up intimacy, they're like, do we have to talk about that?
Are you thinking what we're thinking? Is it sex?
Sex.
Yeah, sex.
Let's talk about
sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things.
Well, we could talk about that at some point, but that is not exactly what we are talking about tonight when we're talking about intimacy. We are actually going to be talking about emotional intimacy, which in my mind, in order to have physical intimacy, you really or good, effective physical intimacy that's very pleasing to both parties, I think the key component is emotional intimacy. I feel it's probably a big area that many couples are not really cultivating a lot of times, and a lot of it could be to do with time. But I think there are also some other reasons why people don't tap into their emotional side. Amy, as you know, is a counselor. She works with a lot of couples, and she has also shared that it is a big topic in the chairs in her office. So we're also going to find out what she has to say. I don't have the education with emotional intimacy, but I have life skills. I've been married for 25 years. I've been through ups and downs. I have 5 children. Finding the time to connect with my husband can be a real challenge. So I do have some thoughts to share with you, and I know Amy has a lot as well. So Amy, let me ask you, I mean, I know what my thoughts are on what emotional intimacy is, but I'd like to know what you have to say about it. What is emotional intimacy? And I also am curious, and I'm sure our audience is as well, what are some of the issues that you are presented with in your office?
Well, to be honest, the #1 issue is people don't, it's not on their radar. Emotional intimacy, they don't come in and say, well, we have poor emotional intimacy. I ask them how their emotional intimacy levels are, and they look at me dumbfounded and think I'm talking about sex. No, your emotional intimacy, how connected are the two of you with your emotions and your partner's emotions? Because we do a lot of assuming. We assume our partner's mad. We assume our partner is this or that.
We're all guilty of that, ladies and men.
Yes. And so emotional intimacy is connecting on a regular basis, problem #1. People aren't taking the time to do that, making it a priority. You once said, make the most important thing the most important thing.
The most important thing is to make the most important thing the most important thing. Well, if your marriage is the most important thing, you got to make it the most important thing. Yeah.
And schedule your priorities. You know, don't just prioritize your schedule your priorities, and time with your partner should be number one, because guess what? Your kids are going to be gone in a few years, and you're going to look at each other and not know who one another is. So connect regularly. I tell my couples 20 minutes minimum a day and at least an hour on the weekends of just getting inside your partner's head and learning about what their world is like that day. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think the number one thing that you can do is cultivate your relationship, cultivate your marriage, because marriage is an investment. It really is, for many reasons. Long term, it's a long-term plan, folks. It is an investment, but like all investments, you have to work to create that ultimate ending. You have to, it's a legacy. You have to work to create it.
Yeah, you can't take it for granted that it's not going to be that plant in the corner of the living room that you just kind of, you know it's there, but you never water it.
Yep.
Well, guess what? It's
the weeds are going to come in. I always say, you know, when I say cultivate, it's like you have to take care of the field, because if you're not taking care of the field, you know what's going to happen? The weeds are going to come up and they're going to take over. And that's what can happen in your marriage if you're not taking care of your marriage.
Absolutely. So I know one thing that you were actually talking about earlier was you were wondering if men typically are letting themselves be open and vulnerable and expressing emotion.
Yeah, I think it's a big problem. I think a lot of men don't show their vulnerable side.
And there are some females that are in that situation as well, but yes, typically our society has taught men, you know, be strong, don't show your emotions, boys don't cry. And so the emotions that they feel allowed to share or express are excitement and anger. And anything else is too, you know, vulnerable, weak. And women really need to see other sides of their partner. Interestingly enough, if someone is expressing anger, 90% chance that beneath that anger is fear or pain.
Oh, wow.
And if you can consider that, okay, he's getting really angry right now.
So really underneath of it, yes. Very interesting.
And you had also mentioned this earlier, sometimes we're not even in touch with our own emotions.
Yes.
And so asking yourself, what is really going on right now? I feel anger, I feel agitated. Is there something underneath that?
Right, right. I think by nature, we have a desire for emotional intimacy. That is, we're creatures, we're wired that way. We all need it, but in order to be able to portray it to someone else, you have to know what you're feeling inside. And it is not a sign of weakness or vulnerability to share with your spouse what your needs are.
And actually, the longest study on happiness done by Harvard found that the key component is a meaningful relationship. And that is one that involves intimacy and connection.
Yeah. And honestly, I have to say, if you're, you know, I think a lot of men, maybe, and it can be women, I don't know, this is just my thoughts, maybe society has taught me this, but there will be a lot of men that will complain, and it could be just men talking to other men, that they're not getting sex in the home. Well, I always think, are you really lacking sex, or is it that you're lacking an emotional intimacy? Because you can't really have the sex without the emotional. You really just can't. You always have to remember, with women, sex starts after the
next orgasm starts at the end of the last orgasm. Sorry, we're just
right.
Make it clear here.
Okay, where's our wine? Get your wine. Yes, just remember, the last orgasm you gave her, that's when it starts all over again. To plant the seed for the next one. It is not about what is happening in the bedroom. No. It's what can you do to be a man outside of the bedroom? Men have to get over that. You know, anyway.
Now, the women, on the other hand, need to get in touch with their playful side.
I think so. Oh, yes.
They, you know,
I think so too.
We're too much perfectionists. We care too much. Are we to look perfect? You know, is everything in order before we let ourselves play? And that's key. It's essential. You have to be, because, okay, here's another thing. A lot of infidelity, a lot of focus on, okay, well, what's new and exciting, and this is what I want versus what I have, right? So keep the mystery, keep the excitement, keep the playfulness within your own relationship.
I agree. And sometimes, and this goes back to emotional intimacy, ways to achieve that is by finding ways to reconnect. You can try many different things. One thing that you can do is, go back to where you fell in love in the first place. Go back to the old things. If there was a movie that you and your spouse loved and had so much good times watching, pull that movie out from the 80s. Pull out Top Gun if you need to, and have a great time. If there was a Greasy Spoon restaurant that you used to go to after you guys would leave a night out and you'd go in the middle of the night, go there and laugh and reconnect. That's powerful to do stuff like that. And a lot of women, I think, do struggle stepping out of that box. They're so mom focused and so proper focused. I have to do everything right. I'm this mom or I'm this businesswoman. Well, guess what? Underneath of all that is exactly who your husband married, and you can still be that person. And when it comes to body image, believe me, you are attractive to your spouse. You might not think you look good, but trust me not, he thinks you look awesome. No matter what shape or size you are, he wants you. Believe me. And I know you could be thinking, yeah, I know he wants me. Yeah, he just wants this, that. No, he really wants you, but he also wants the emotional side. And sometimes we have to be the big girl, and we may have to initiate bringing out the emotions. Wouldn't you agree with that? That, you can't just go up to him and say, hey, start opening up and showing me your feelings. Oh, how are you feeling right now? You have to be meticulous about how you get that out of him, but step out and maybe step out of your own box and try to open up that window.
Well, the biggest thing too is to keep in mind that our men and our women are reaching out at all the times of the day. And how many times do you blow off what they're saying because you're really not interested? Being interested in what they're interested in and just showing some kindness and interest in them, that's step number one. I want to build off also something you said, because something that a lot of people don't think of often is doing new things together.
Oh, I like that too.
Try some new restaurants. Try a cooking class together. Do an activity that
do ballroom dancing. I always think, because we have five daughters. I would love to do ballroom dancing and just be able to own that dance floor.
You would look awesome on the salsa dance floor. Yeah. Seat to the seat. So one thing you had mentioned earlier was the importance of flirtation, and it's so key. This is a woman who knows what she's talking about.
25 years. I don't feel like I ever stopped that. I don't know. I think it's my nature.
Most women do.
I'm just that way by nature.
You're one of those people who flirt with women and men alike. And I love people like that. I do.
Thank you. I think of it as a positive thing, but
absolutely. But most couples don't.
Okay.
And
big mistake.
Let me ask. Okay, so and obviously a lot of you that we're talking to were not around in the days of texting. But think about it. Did you used to say, oh, you're so handsome, you're so hot? When was the last time you told your husband he was hot? Seriously.
Yeah.
He will love that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He will love that. But we appreciate it when they acknowledge art.
Absolutely.
But we don't do that for them.
We don't. No, I do think being a little bit flirtatious in the right moment. You have to pick and choose. I mean, in a public setting, you do have to keep it under wraps, but I think there's a lot to say just about being touchy too. So although that's not really a form of flirting, to me, that still in a way is a communication. It is affection, and it's a form of emotional intimacy because that affection is there. But flirting, I think, is big. And I think the other thing I know that I feel is important, and it's hard to do. It's really hard, especially if you have resentment towards your spouse. And I think it can be on both sides, but I think a lot of women hold a little bit of resentment towards their husband because maybe he doesn't give them enough help around the home. But sometimes we have to be very careful with our tunnel vision, I like to call it, and think all about what I need. I need help around the home. Are you actually stepping back and observing with different binoculars? Focus those binoculars in. What is he doing to contribute to the well-being of the home, to the whole entire family. Maybe he's not helping physically around the home, but he is doing a lot of behind the scenes, and we need to recognize that. But the key is to tap into the emotional intimacy. You have to tell him. You have to give him admiration. You have to give him appreciation. Isn't that what we want? And maybe he's not giving it to you. Be the bigger person and start the process. We all desire to know that our worth is valuable. We all need that. And I think especially for a man, they want to know that their worth to you in your world is extremely valuable. Would you agree with this from the couples that you see?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of men, and the love languages is something separate from needs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of men need admiration.
Mm-hmm.
They
I agree.
need it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they need to know every once in a while that they're right, that you respect
and it's
them.
okay. Yes,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Well, that's
Because they are right. We're not always right.
And well, that's the thing. Too many of us have so much pride, whether it's because of resentment, and that was an excellent point, and that may be something, that's another topic altogether. But we have so much pride that we don't want to give in.
Yeah, and I think it's more of a power struggle.
Yes, but guess what? If you don't win, he doesn't win. If he doesn't win, you don't win. Because we're a team, right? It's
How's the cultivating going? How's that investment working for you?
Working for you?
Life is short, people. Life is short. Would you rather go along in life miserable, or would you rather go along in life happy? A lot of it lies right in your own hands, believe it or not, with your words, your appreciation for someone else, not thinking selfishly and thinking about the other person. It's hard, I know.
But we had mentioned at the beginning of this that you can't have physical intimacy without emotional intimacy. But guess what? You can grow your emotional intimacy with physical intimacy, especially if it's meaningful and significant, and you're only punishing yourself. And like you were saying, life is short. I love the saying, would you rather be right or happy?
Right, and I agree with that. And kind of going on the sex side too, and this would be more for you men that hopefully are watching, I always say it's because we all know about the package and how the package is.
Did you just say the package?
Did I just? Man, this video's going wrong. We should. You can tell we are almost a bottle in.
Yeah.
And we still have dinner together.
And you're talking about the package.
But we know how men are with their package. My theory has always been, for a woman, it is not so much about your package, it's about your presence. Ooh. I've always felt that way.
Nice.
Package will come, but you got to be present. You got to be present, so.
Absolutely. I may use that for future sessions. We'll see.
Yes.
I don't know if I can say package and I get in trouble.
I cannot believe I said package. I meant to say performance. See what happens when
package doesn't always affect performance.
Oh yeah, that is true. Oh, I hope they can't hear. Are we? I think we're rolling.
I think we're live. We do have fun. Guess what? You need to have fun.
You do.
Bring some fun.
Yes,
when was the last time you danced around the living room to some music?
Naked. Hopefully when the kids are home.
Yeah.
He would be fine with it. Who cares what you look like? You know what? Who cares? The body you have is the body you're going to have.
Confidence is so sexy.
It is so sexy. Men love confident women. They love their wives to be confident. We love our men. When you were mentioning kind of seeing your partner across the room, and you do the little look. I love how that was sexy, by the way. Yeah. After all these years, still do it.
Yeah. But you know what? It's when we see our partner in their element, like radiant and confident, that we want them. And guess what? The same is true for you. When you are confident and radiant, and in the moment, present.
Not package. I know. Where did package go? Tracy, you're never going to make it on YouTube. They're probably going to flag this.
You're going to get the mature rating.
I'm going to put, when I tag this video, I'm going to have to put package in there. I cannot believe it. I tell you, hey, you just never know what you're going to get with us. Well, Ladies, gentlemen, we are so glad that you joined us for another Words and Wind Down. We love doing this. Let us know if you're enjoying these topics. Let us know in the comment section below what other topics you would like us to talk about. We're going to try to do this every once a month. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, I read every single comment to a fault.
And
I really do.
Replies back.
I do. I'm so thankful and grateful for all of you guys. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I know I'm a broken record and always say that, but it's really important. But anyway, we got to go because we are going to go celebrate somebody's 29th birthday tonight. We're going to go get a nice dinner. And don't forget, you know, if you're not following me on Snapchat, you're missing out. Well, actually, I'll be on Snapchat tonight with Amy because I will be celebrating her birthday. So be sure to click on and watch us from there. And thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good night.
Cheers.